Sheer dogged determination and a resolute unwillingness to compromise his principles made him famous. And if you think he's gonna mellow out now that he's turned 60, well, think again. This is the incredible path that led Ice-T from orphan to superstar. Young Tracy Merrow had a pretty nondescript suburban childhood in North New Jersey. As a child, he was about as far away from gangsta as you could get. In his book Ice, a memoir of gangster life and redemption, he called his early years quiet, simple, and suburban. When Tracy was in the 3rd grade, his mother, who was only in her early 30s, died of a massive heart attack.
We were watching TV, and she just leaned her head back and started breathing hard. My father, we lived in a duplex house, and he was just like, go next door.
That left young Tracy to be raised by his father and a paternal aunt. But only 4 years later, his father passed away of the exact same cause. Ice recalled that he didn't shed a tear over either parent's death. He said, everybody in the family was bugging out that I didn't cry when my father died. They remembered how I hadn't shed a tear for my mother either. But I just wasn't built like that, wasn't wired like that. Even as a 12-year-old kid, I knew I was going to have to make it on my own, and my survival instincts were kicking in. Shortly after his father's death, Ice moved to LA to live with another aunt. He described a slight case of culture shock in an interview with the AV Club, saying, "Welcome to LA. Hey, guess what? We've got gangs. Something I wasn't dealing with in New Jersey and New York." For a while, he bused to school in upper-class Culver City. Later, he and some friends decided they would rather attend Crenshaw High. The only problem was that Crenshaw was a notorious Crip school. Ice and his buddies avoided gang harassment by simply inventing one. He recalled, "There was like 3 or 4 of us who came from that group and went to Crenshaw. We actually created a fake gang. We told people we were part of the Hillside Crips. We had them thinking there was hundreds of us. We created this other, I guess you could say, shell corporation that didn't actually have backup, but it kind of kept people off of us." Ice's personality and charisma helped sell the lie and endear him to the school's shot callers. Despite cozying up to gangs, Ice was still a good kid. He made every effort to keep his grades up, but in 12th grade he got his girlfriend, who was 2 years younger, pregnant. He decided the only way he could provide for his new family was by joining the Army. While he would later be dismissive of the experience in his tune "That's How I'm Livin'," he admitted to the AV Club that it helped shape him in the absence of a father figure. He said, "I think men, growing up, you have to go through some form of hardship. You've got to harden the metal. I would go to the military or prison. Somebody got to smack you in the face and tell you, life ain't easy, man up." His relationship with his baby's mother ended during his stint in the Army. Upon his return to Los Angeles, he found that there weren't a whole lot of job opportunities for young Black Army vets who were also single fathers. In his episode of VH1's Behind the Music, Ice remembers his friends picking him up from the airport in a gleaming new Mercedes.
And they literally picked me up from the airport in new Mercedes-Benz and Vettes and said, "Yo, this is what we doing right now."
They invited him to join them in a series of smash-and-grab jewelry store heists. Ice's military discipline made him an ideal point man, and he and his crew enjoyed a brief period of success as jewel thieves. This was followed by a stint as a full-on pimp, a time which saw Ice develop the persona that would later serve him well. Ice had long been fascinated with the works of street poet Iceberg Slim, whom he would quote at length to his friends, prompting them to ask him to, quote, "kick some more of that ice, T." One day, while getting his hair done in the salon, he was entertaining the patrons with rhymes when a local record label owner asked him if he wanted to make some money with that. The encounter would lead to Ice's debut 1983 single, The Coldest Rap. Before long, he was being scouted to potentially appear in a movie. Ice recalled in an interview with The Guardian, "Everybody that I was rolling with started to go to jail. I was in as deep as I could get, and my friends started to go under. To live every day with the potential of somebody blowing your brains out is not as sexy as it sounds." These friends began to counsel him, some of them from behind bars, that the criminal lifestyle wasn't the best career path. After initially turning down the movie offer, he accepted the small sum of $500 per day to appear in Breakin', the 1983 film that helped hip-hop edge closer to the national spotlight. Ice would use the raised profile afforded by the movie to further his burgeoning rap career, but something was just amiss. As he would later recount in the title track to his 1991 album OG Original Gangster, a lot of the popular rap music of the time focused on the music itself. But Ice's personal experience meant that he had lots of other, much more important material he could use to inform his music. That music dropped like a nuclear warhead on the nascent LA rap scene, and a new genre was born. The opening verse of 1986's 6 in the Morning establishes its narrator as the type of character not seen in hip-hop until this point. A guy wearing gold chains and wandering the city with pockets full of drugs and guns. He's a self-made mobster of the city streets, and no one had ever heard anything like it to that point. The song told a tale of crime and punishment that set the template for what would become known as gangsta rap. Ice admittedly had more than a little inspiration from Philadelphia rapper Schoolie D's 1985 single PSK What Does It Mean? While not explicitly a gangster narrative, Schoolie's track featured not only tough street talk, but a rap style nearly identical to the one that Ice would employ. Ice said in a later interview, "Call it a bite or what you will, but I dug that record." 6 in the Morning would appear on Ice's 1987 debut LP Rhyme Pays, and the tune prompted actor Dennis Hopper to tap Ice to provide the title track to his 1988 gang film Colors, further cementing his status as the godfather of gangsta rap. Incidentally, Rhyme Pays was the first rap album to ever carry a parental advisory sticker. In the mid-'80s, the U.S. government, spurred by the Parents Music Resource Center, or PMRC, basically declared war on any music featuring lyrics that were any less than squeaky clean. Initially focusing their efforts on superstars like Madonna and Prince, the rise of gangsta rap gave the PMRC a big, fat target. Ice-T, never one to mince words about anything, had plenty to say about it. On the title track to his tellingly titled third album, The Iceberg: Freedom of Speech, Just Watch What You Say, Ice leveled the PMRC and the city of Columbus, Georgia, which had taken to locking up artists under its indecency statute. He pointed out the futility of censorship and the hypocrisy of sworn defenders of the First Amendment seemingly being willing to tear it to shreds. The real fun started when Ice released the debut album by his all-black heavy metal band Body Count, which featured a song called Cop Killer.
This is a very angry song, a song about rage.
In the midst of a re-election campaign, then-President George H.W. Bush and Vice President Dan Quayle became obsessed with the song. The world was treated to the bizarre sight of then-NRA President Charlton Heston reading the song's lyrics context-free and in a deadpan monotone.
I got my 12-gauge sawed off. I got my headlights turned off. I'm about to bust some shots off. I'm about to dust some cops off.
The tune's cry of rage against police brutality didn't exactly endear Ice to the law enforcement community, which made his next career move a bit puzzling. Ice confounded everybody by appearing in Mario Van Peebles' 1991 gangster epic New Jack City, playing perhaps the most unlikely role anyone could think of. He portrayed an undercover cop working to infiltrate a crime syndicate. Ice's life experiences made him a perfect fit for the part, and he absolutely killed it, parlaying the appearance into a steady stream of film roles throughout the 90s. As his rap career began to wind down later that decade, he accepted a 4-episode guest spot on Law & Order Special Victims Unit, a new spin-off of the Venerable series. Hitting it off with the cast, he lobbied to join the show permanently. Nearly 20 seasons later, he's still a key part of the ensemble. Ice pointed out to Jimmy Fallon that Gunsmoke currently holds the record for longest-running primetime drama, and expressed his optimism that SVU will take that crown. If it seems a little surreal that the OG rapper has pulled down a steady legal paycheck for 2 decades playing a cop, well, Ice wouldn't necessarily disagree. Asked by Fallon if he ever pictured himself appearing on TV while growing up, Ice replied,
America's Most Wanted, maybe.
Ice has long asserted, even as far back as his Behind the Music episode in 1999, that he views the entertainment industry as one great big hustle. If that's true, then its obsession with reality TV must have looked like the biggest, easiest hustle of them all. In 2011, he and wife Coco Austin signed on for the E-reality series Ice Loves Coco, which for 3 seasons detailed the day-to-day lives of the original gangster and his bride. In true Ice-T fashion, he decided to end the series in 2014, not because its audience was declining, but simply because he was bored and ready to move on to the next thing. Ice said in an interview, "You can only do so much with reality TV. When you're doing reality television, at some point you start to loop. You get it. I play video games. I eat sausage sandwiches." Ice has plenty more in the pipeline, but he and Coco will always have a memento of their time as reality stars. Their baby daughter Chanel was born shortly after the show's run and is one of the only babies in the world that has hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers. In addition to his regular SVU gig, Ice has branched out as the host of Oxygen Network's In Ice Cold Blood, a true crime series focusing on particularly lurid acts. And he's not done with music. He continues to tour and record with Body Count, and they're no nostalgia act. Their 2017 album Bloodlust was warmly received by fans and critics, and the band quickly returned to the studio for their next LP. Their shows are as full of energy and righteous fury as ever. For fans who want a pure, unfiltered hit of tea, look no further than Ice's Twitter account, which he maintains diligently and sprinkles liberally with the kind of no BS common sense wisdom those familiar with his music have come to expect. He may be as old as your dad, but he created one of the most controversial music genres of all time, loves video games, knows how Twitter works, and makes kick-ass metal albums with his awesome band. Talk about turning tragedy into triumph. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.